Hello everybody, I'm Major Dragon here, and today we're going to be doing our first What If, and I wanted to do something that I've been wanting to do for a little while, and it's what if Bardock turns Super Saiyan against Frieza. Now, I'm very new to What Ifs, so if there's any things that I've missed, or any things that doesn't make sense, remember this is a What If, so things don't really make sense, which is why it's called a What If. So today we're going to be going through what if Bardock turns Super Saiyan against Frieza. And what I'm referring to is when Goku was first sent off and Bardock makes his final stand against Frieza right before he destroyed Planet Vegeta. How would this change the story, and how would this impact Dragon Ball itself? So, our story will begin with Bardock battered and bruised. He's fighting through the soldiers of Frieza's army, and he was going to make his final stand against Frieza. As remember, all the other Saiyans never showed up because they thought he was joking. And at this point, Bardock had nothing to lose. He saw the vision of his son, and he sent his son away, and he lost all his comrades to Dodoria, so he was going to make his final stand against Frieza, and he was willing to die to change the future. That's a very simple thing. Well, he charges in against all the Frieza soldiers, battling his way through them all, until he was able to get past them, and then Frieza comes out of the ship, not impressed looking. Bardock then says his speech, very similar to what he says in the Bardock episode, and then he charges his final attack in his hand. And he throws with everything he has, as Frieza just puts one finger up, and a ginormous supernova forms as Bardock used all of his power, and he throws the attack, but it was easily engulfed by the massive power and supernova that Frieza possessed. As Frieza laughed and flicked his finger forward, it hits Bardock, and everything exploded everywhere. Bardock was ready to give up and accept his fate. Flashbacks of his wife Jin, and Goku and Raditz, and his pride as a Saiyan and more, and his fallen comrades, sends him over the edge. As he explodes in a golden aura, the attack was destroyed. Frieza didn't understand what was going on. None of the soldiers did, as Bardock stands, the Super Saiyan of legends. Now, keep in mind, Bardock had a power level of around 10,000 in this, so adding the 50 times boost, it'll give him a total power level of around 500,000. He is still weaker than First Form Frieza, as he was 530,000, so this can go two possible ways. So, either one, Bardock fights Frieza and he loses because Frieza can go into his second form. Or the second option, he turns Super Saiyan and pushes his supernova with his own attack, and both of them combined hitting Frieza, who wasn't prepared for it, so it would realistically kill him. So for plot reasons and to keep the story going, we can assume the second option will happen. So Bardock was able to push the attack and finish off Frieza, vaporizing him. As then, Bardock, looking at his newfound power, passed out. The power of the Super Saiyan drained all the energy from him, and he fell down to Planet Vegeta, but the Saiyans found him, and they brought him to a healing chamber. And now during this time, the Saiyans would easily find out that it was Bardock who killed Frieza in the attack. So there would be a lot of bickering that Bardock's legendary Super Saiyan, and Bardock was the one that finished Frieza. Now at this time, Raditz, I believe he was outside of the planet, and same with Vegeta and Nappa. So at this time, Vegeta would very much so be notified that your father is dead, King Vegeta, and Frieza was killed by a Super Saiyan. Obviously, Vegeta will be heading right back to Planet Vegeta to see this. Just number one, he's probably mad because, I mean, he just, he didn't have the chance to kill Frieza, and it wasn't him that did it, and he wasn't a Super Saiyan, and he's supposed to be royalty. You know how that would go. So what would happen next is, I believe that once when Bardock, would be finished, he would wake up from the healing chamber, and the first thing first, he wants to see Guinea. So, and he noticed, when he woke up from the healing chamber, he has gotten much stronger from this near-death experience. And the new power boost, adding on his top power level. His top power level was around 10,000 plus, so considering it was a near-death Zenkai, and he fought Frieza, kind of, tanked his attack, and he boosted on Super Saiyan on top of that, this is a very safe thing that his power level could have potentially boosted. And by the way, don't in the comment section, don't get pissed about power levels because, I mean, come on now. It's a what if. Power levels are irrelevant after the Frieza saga. You just kind of like scaling at that point. His power level would be around 50,000 because he fought against a very powerful opponent, and a Saiyan's adaptability to grow in power from near-death experiences depends on the power as they were beaten with. So 50,000 is around a 5 times boost that he's gotten. Now, during this few-week period, the Saiyans would view Bardock as a hero, and I mean, he is the Super Saiyan after all, and he killed Frieza. Now, during these weeks, Bardock would take a break and spend time with his wife, Gine. They would talk about their son, Kakarot, who left for Earth. Now, Bardock would remember his son's future and would say to leave him for his own journey, which I think that Gine would be very resentful of that because she's very protective of her sons. But I think if Bardock says you need to trust me and he explains the situation, then I think that Gine would understand it and let Goku grow on his own. But they would want to locate Raditz, since Raditz is already near there anyway. And then as the weeks go by, Bardock would then be training alone. He would probably want to learn of his Super Saiyan power, and he imagines if he can control it, he can stop any threat in his way. But it will take some time. The next few months passed. Vegeta arrived with Nappa. And Vegeta arrived, and obviously he was ready to claim his throne, because he was the next heir to the throne. Now, this can go two ways, is because Bardock could have already claimed the throne as king, since most of the Saiyans would want him to. He's the legendary Super Saiyan, his power has no rival. But considering how we've seen how much Bardock hates royalty, I don't think he probably would want to. He would probably just be left it alone unless he had like no choice. Which, I mean, no Saiyan can tell him otherwise. I would assume the Saiyans would think that he's the only pick for their new king, but I think he would just deny it and probably just push it off, as he's never seen himself as a king. Now, at this point, Vegeta has arrived, and he claimed his title as king instantly, and orders to meet the so-called Super Saiyan. His pride was damaged, and that he wasn't the Super Saiyan, that Frieza didn't die by his hand, Bardock would probably not even show up. He didn't care about the prince's problems. So at this point, Vegeta would find him himself and demands how he turned into a Super Saiyan because he wants the power for himself. Because if Bardock can do it, Vegeta can do it, right? Bardock wouldn't honestly have a true answer, so he wouldn't really tell him. It just happened. He just remembers awakening a power. As Vegeta, anger inside of him says he's a low-class Saiyan, and he would go on and attack Vegeta. Power level at this point for Vegeta, since he was still a kid at that time, was around 12,000, is from what we've seen. Bardock's current power level after intense months of training would probably go from 50,000 to 65,000. Since remember, he's training very intensely and getting healed, which is kind of like a low ball for a couple months of training with Super Saiyan. So Vegeta, as you may all know, absolutely has zero chance of defeating Bardock. But Vegeta would honestly put up a good fight. He would fight because that's what they do for his age. But Bardock wouldn't, and he would soon get bored and annoyed. But then, I feel like Bardock would then prove his point, as he would show Vegeta his Super Saiyan power. As he charges, his hair rises, his muscles grow a little, and his eyes turn a teal blue as he yells, transforming into a Super Saiyan. Now keep in mind, the Super Saiyan transformation for Bardock is still very new, so he can tap into it, just it's a little bit difficult, and he cannot hold the form for very long, as it makes him very, very angry, and it messes with his emotions. But he's starting to get there. And if he's anything like Goku, I think he would have a natural talent of learning, and I think that since he already felt the power, I think that he can slowly start to learn it at this point. But it's not something that he can turn off and on, and, you know, he only uses it for, like, final issues. Now, at this point, remember when I said that his power level is 65,000, so turning into a Super Saiyan, we're getting some numbers, his power is 50 times, his power level would be around 3.25 million. So at this point, he just one-shot Vegeta, knocking him out cold. Or he might not even need to, because Vegeta all the Saiyan Scouters would break. But somewhere in a deep space, King Cold would be relaxing in his chair as he heard of his son's death, of a Saiyan. And he was not happy about that. How dare his family's legacy and his family's empire be dishonored and such disgust that Frieza would lose to a filthy monkey? This is not going to go. King Cold was preparing his army and growing up his empire so he can go to planet Vegeta himself and find the so-called Super Saiyan of legend and kill him himself. But alright guys, that is it for my small what if right now. I will be doing a part 2 as there's so much that I've written down for this. So if you guys want to see more, please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys have any ideas that you want to see, let me know. If you have any other what if ideas, please tell me. And I love seeing you guys, so please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a fantastic day.